Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more City Skylines in Praetoria. Alrighty. I feel like we haven't been making quite as much progress in the last couple of videos as I would like, and mainly that's because we're hitting the slump of the game where we aren't able to unlock large chunks of the map until we get more population. We need to get up to this megalopolis, and unfortunately we still have a long ways to go. Once I get there, I can start having fun with every tile on the map. Thanks to some mods, I can place down international airports and so on. Lots of cool stuff will come out of all of that. But for now, we're kind of at that slump where I just need to keep rinsing and repeating and building out the city as large as possible. That said, grids do at some point get a little bit on the tedious and boring side now, don't they? So I'm trying to think of other options to try and continue expanding the city. The most obvious thing I can think to do is maybe start creating some more little suburban neighborhoods out over here close to the Corgi Butt Farms. The problem is I kind of wanted to use this primarily for some industry, but now I'm kind of leaning toward maybe this turns into a big industrial park someday. Although, realistically speaking, I don't know, industry is going to be kind of phased out as we get education. I can pass a policy for industry, 4.0 or something? City planning, boo-doo. Yeah, we can have high-tech industry for highly educated citizens at some point. So when we create an industrial sector, we'll just go ahead and just do this and increase the production and make it expensive. But it'll work out well for me. So for now, some extra little suburban neighborhoods along the river and stuff. This could be picturesque, and at least it gives me a chance to build things out without being quite as boring as we have been in many other places. So like maybe we set up something kind of like this for just kind of a starting of an extra little suburban area? Maybe? I don't know. It's not efficient by like any stretch at all actually. But that's the point! So let's go ahead and set up some additional residential areas over this direction. We'll create a new zone, and I'll probably go ahead and turn this into another self-sufficient and organic area, just because, I don't know, it's interesting, it's different. And once in a while, you just crave diversity, right? They say the diversity is the spice of life, and there's only like 5 options in this game, so I really gotta make them work, gosh dang it. All right, let's go ahead and make you organic and self-sufficient. There's a lot of practical reasons to do things like this anyway. Belmont, oh, that sounds pretty good, but no, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna name it something else. How about Jurgen Springs, after my patron Archie Jurgen? There we go. All right, so that should look fantastic. Of course, we got to get all of our normal utilities figured out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you've seen all of this before. It's not like this is all new and revolutionary. You all know exactly what I'm trying to do here. I simply need to get more neighborhoods set up. And that's exactly what we're doing. This is going to take a good long while to level up, I'm afraid. No one wants to move out here right now just because it's kind of far away from most amenities, even though I've placed down a lot of good stuff, and frankly, the land value over here ought to be pretty okay. Yeah, it's going to be hard to convince people. One thing that would make it a little bit easier if I were to set up another highway exit in this area. And knowing that I'm probably going to continue expanding out the grid into a whole new sector over here, it would make sense to do that anyway. So we might as well go ahead and create a new set of exits. We haven't tried messing with a more classic highway on-ramp, off-ramp, so let's give this one a shot and see what it does. Obviously, just kind of having a bridge going over an avenue, ramp that goes off, and then can immediately get right back on, or just kind of relief into either direction. So that's kind of how this is going to work. One thing I do want to change, though, I've added in these little kind of relief, I don't know what exactly the technical term is, but kind of like little relief roads. The idea being that if you are going to use these, then your entire goal is just to get off to the right so you don't have to wait for the light. That does mean over here I don't want anyone turning to the right. That would kind of defeat the entire purpose. So you can go straight, though why you do that I wouldn't know, and then turn left. So if you want to turn right, you go this way, and there's no stoplight to worry about. You want to go this way, you have to wait through the light, and then you can turn left. This is kind of a classic American junction, and I'm just kind of curious how effective it's going to be. I'm seeing occasional weird little brownouts in this tiny little corner over here. Does electricity have, like, a range at how far it can travel? As long as we have enough electricity around, I wouldn't think it matters, but maybe they're treating it the same way you would something like water pressure. That's weird. Well, if that is the case, we might need to get some more local power plants off in this direction. I do know that we're starting to have some trouble with our garbage collection as well, so we'll go ahead and set up, let's say, an extra recycling plant. We already had a large one over here, but it clearly isn't enough, so I'll go ahead and place down at least one more over there, and then maybe another one over here. I know it's kind of like off the avenue and such, and that sucks, but like, I'm just gonna do it anyway, because sometimes you just can't be bothered with efficiency. I do want to note how much slower the game is suddenly running. Right, I'm at maximum speed. I've got like a mod to go even faster, and the cars are not moving all that fast. Whoa, now they're going faster. A tiny bit. It just kind of just jumps in and out a little bit. There's just a lot getting processed, and there's going to come a point where even with my exceptionally good computer, it's going to slow down so much that playing this game is going to be infeasible. I'm just going to warn you that's going to be the case. What the heck is going on with this stupid place? Gosh dang it, Mr. Tweeter's Shiny Emporium. I don't know what in earth you're creating here, but it's some sort of horrible, horrible traffic monstrosity, and I hate it. It's not even just that, though. Look how far people are walking. Wait a minute. What are you all doing? People aren't supposed to walk this far. They're walking all that way to get to a metro station. Arst thou serious? Wow, dude. Okay. You know what this means? It means I also very desperately need to get a bus route around Solbusser Fields and get them up to, 1, the ore mines, and 2, over here toward this metro line, because that is an unacceptably long distance to have to walk. I know, by the way. Doesn't that sound like a very American type of complaint? Yes, I know, child. Mwah, thank you. I decided to create a one-way road leading out of this train station toward the highway, by the way. Not inviting more traffic in, really, but just if things get delivered, rather than doing what they're doing right now, which is traveling the worst possible way, I'd rather go ahead and relieve some of them directly into the highway, since that is the best setup to deal with all the pressure. Though it sure as heck looks like from here, it is actually starting to back up a little bit, so that little bit of extra pressure really adds up, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I'm also going to expand the city a bit more in this direction, again, taking advantage of this highway in Blaubierkuchen? I don't know. We're going to try with this anyway, though. And what I'm going to do a little bit differently in this district is I'm going to try to set up another loop, but not using trams. I don't really get to work with monorails pretty much, like, ever. So I want to try playing around with these, and as long as we have the infrastructure already set up for a nice, convenient loop along the avenues, this might be an okay, quiet-ish form of transit in one big self-contained area. So we'll try that. In the meantime, though, what else do we want to do? I think regular commercials should be fine. I think we will once again go for IT clusters. And do I want to go for self-sufficient buildings just to kind of make it interesting? You know what? No. I think I'll leave it kind of as is. Let's just kind of let this be its own thing. We've been playing a little bit too much with the self-sufficiency lately. I want proper pollution, gosh dang it. All right, well, next thing to do is to go ahead and start gradually working some zoning out over here so we can get power everywhere it needs to go. I seem to have created a bit of a crisis, by the way. There are a lot of people who are looking sick for a bit there. Yeah, I got 6,006 citizens and nowhere near the capacity to deal with that. And I think that maybe because I set up a water tower that was apparently in a slightly polluted area, that might have come back to bite me a bit. Just a wee little bit. Yeah, this is one of the things about having a mod that turns off the radioactive pollution appearance. It's pretty easy to overlook, apparently, where your pollution is, and then accidentally poison your entire city. But am I going to admit that? Absolutely not. That's just a lawsuit waiting to happen, and I will never accept that. There also appears to be, as a result, a rather massive number of dead people. I think I might have accidentally murdered a few hundred, if not a few thousand people. I could be wrong on that. That's just sort of the sense I'm getting. My Praetoriums are doing their best they can. They're running kind of around the clock picking up bodies, and we'll get rid of them all eventually, I am sure. Let's keep an eye on this number and see if this doesn't go up, because if this is not improving, it means that something else is causing a health crisis, and I have no idea what else it would be, because that's the only thing I've been able to find that's wrong so far. I am temporarily going to set up a whole mess of crematoriums over here expressly so that I can have people get out their little hearse cars and go pick up a whole bunch of bodies. Each one of these, I think, can pick up like 10 or more people, actually, and bring them back. So that's a lot of hearses. We just need to work around the clock to deal with the dead body problem so we don't have another health crisis following all of this, and then we'll be fine. A lot of these buildings are going to start deleting themselves. On the plus side, anyone want some cheap real estate? Because this is your opportunity. Buy, buy, buy! Okay, I think the bodies might have officially been dealt with. Good. And the healthcare numbers are improving, though way slower than I otherwise might have expected. But okay, we're not in the red across the board. We're slowly getting this figured out. Fan-flippin-tastic. All right, the temporary crematoriums can go away. I feel really messed up that I even needed that, but okay, whatever works, right? Oh. Despite all the problems we've been having, though, we are now also in Metropolis. Hey, new areas, thank God. All right, this has not improved. This area over here has not improved even a little bit. I really don't understand this one at all. I'll be honest with you, I just don't understand why this continues to be such a problem. Knowing that it is a problem, we can take some steps to try and rectify it at least a little bit. We could go ahead and do, let's say, a very small roundabout, at least in this junction, and it will help a little. But truth be told, the biggest thing I can do at some point is to literally just build a highway connection out over here, which was the original plan anyway, and have better ways of getting people around. But I don't want to do that until I can buy out a lot more tiles to properly take advantage of it. So what tile do I want to buy next? That's a great question. I might, I would have said down over here, but the way it's connected up to the highway isn't sufficient for what I have in mind. I really want this to be able to bend down this way, which means I need at least 2 more tiles before I'm fully gonna reach fruition. And the same situation up over here. So I think what I'll do is I will still buy this tile, with the anticipation that I'm going to start building out my leisure district now. And even though the highway isn't going to be complete and go exactly where I want it to go, we can at least start building this decoration out. Sorry, not a leisure district, a tourism district. That's what I need. Proper tourism. Because then we can draw in a lot of people over here to places like the fun deck and get a lot more money. And speaking of getting people over to the fun deck, something that might be worthwhile is setting up some boat terminals, some harbors off in this general area. Yes? Set up at least a couple of these, start receiving some cruise lines? Sure. Seems reasonable enough to me. We just need to create some sort of a clever one-way road roundabout situation over here in order to make sure that the traffic that does come through here is going to be easily managed. So we appear to have a lot of boats that want to get into the city. Hey, baby, why don't you do that conga or something? I don't know. This is one heck of a conga line. I don't think this is safe. Okay. Well, somehow we are definitely getting through a lot of people via the harbors. Why they prefer to use only this one and not the other, I really couldn't tell you. It just seems to be that way. There are some that come through, don't get me wrong. They have to be coming from this direction, then they turn and they come over here. But most boats apparently are going from this direction. Oh God, the travesty of it all. Look at this. I didn't know I could create this kind of a traffic jam out in the water, but apparently you totally can. Okay. No, this is probably fine. Okay, so what are some other things we could do that might make this a little bit better for people to get around and not use up so many cars? Well, we could go for a bus stop to help get people around. Another thing I could do is set up some taxis. We haven't bothered with those as of yet. Let's just go ahead and set one up over here next to the recycling line, plus a handful of nice little taxi centers down here by these harbors so that people are able to hire a taxi and get directly where they want to go. And then, yeah, beyond that, maybe bus line would be good? Yes, I'm thinking maybe yes. Let's go for bus line. There we go. The boat situation seems to have at least somewhat resolved itself. Not really sure what changed, but it did. By the way, I should note that the Beachfront Natural Preserve is coming along. Figured out that I could make use of some of the city park piers and stuff. That still works even if it isn't in a proper park zone. And then we do have some options that are now appearing for the natural preserve. They're supposed to be for, like, fishing and stuff, and I don't think you'd have a very good time fishing out here like this, but at least it looks like something's happening along the ocean. So I'm kind of okay with this, and I just love that we found a way to get everyone to walk around on the sand. So this place is now well on its way to becoming a level 5. That will be fan-flippin-tastic. In the meantime, I need to go ahead and start planning out this zone. Now, one fun thing about this tourism zone is I do plan on making good use out of a lot of the monuments, right? Lots of these things to draw in tons of tourism, tons of entertainment value. That is the goal. So we're probably going to find that several of these areas need lots of space, especially for some of the really big buildings. Not SpaceX, I'm not placing that in the middle of the city. But something like this, for example, would not be able to fit within my standard block size. So the grid that we've been using up to this point is probably not going to cut it. This is one area where I think I'm going to need to be willing to take a few creative liberties, have a few major arteries going through this area, especially since I imagine traffic will be high, and then just go crazy. Let's also try creating a little monorail loop in this area, just because I can. Is it the most efficient? Probably not, but it's cool. I like monorails. I've been obsessed with them ever since I was a little kid. I say obsessed, I don't know. It was one of my the most fascinating things at Disney World, let's say that, when I was a child. But did I fully appreciate the majesty of what they were? No, probably not. Anyways, what's something else I want to work on? You know, I want to have something that's going to be very entertaining for a lot of the people coming into this area, especially between both the leisure and the tourism district. One thing I could do is possibly put in a small city zoo in this area. Even with a monorail going directly through it, that could be kind of nice. Yeah? I don't know, I haven't done a zoo yet. Let's go ahead and place down a zoo. I think a zoo would be great. Oh, but what to call it? How about the Foxtrot City Zoo? After Foxytrot, but I think the name Foxtrot in this case kind of sounds a little bit better, so we'll go with that. I'll probably end up turning this into a zoo that actually spans across this side of the road, but has some little citizen paths to walk over it, creating a bunch of nice picturesque little bridges. I just feel like a zoo is going to be somewhat large, and if I don't have enough space to grow, then it's kind of a missed opportunity, you know what I mean? So we're going to go for that. Then let's go to our parks. Let's pick out a zoo and a main gate or a small gate. I like a big honking main gate. What do you mean the space is already occupied? That's just because you guys are being lazy. We'll do something like this, I suppose. Sure. Boom! We have a whole bunch of things we can do. Moose and reindeer enclosures, some souvenirs, birdhouses, plaza, antelope. All right, so moose, reindeer, and antelope. Two very different biomes are going to be available for our first initial zoo, but that is A-okay. There we go. It's a very, very humble beginning, and I suspect that the animals might be a little terrified of the monorail hissing by, but for the most part, it looks all right. This isn't exactly going to be like a Planet Zoo kind of a thing, but it should be good enough for City Skylines, I dare say. And we do have to figure out how to get power over here. That's going to be a little unfortunate, but we can make it work. Now, the real question is what we're going to end up naming this new tourism district. And I haven't really figured that one out yet. I'll have to consult my list in just a minute. Ideally, somebody with a really fun and exciting name. Something that sounds rather exotic. It makes you wish you could come over here and be like, check out Praetoria. There's all sorts of amazing things you didn't even know you wanted to see over there. Something like the Modus Ponens district. It's going to be an amazing one for us. Okay, excellent. So let's take a look at some of our specializations. Most important thing, this is a tourism specialization. We're going to be focusing mostly on getting things like hotels and restaurants and other entertaining activities. And just like with the leisure district, it's going to cause an absolute ton of noise pollution. So we don't want to have any residential in this area at all. On the plus side, it should help attract tourists directly into the city. So in theory, we're going to be seeing a lot more people wanting to come in here. I mean, you know, once I actually get this dang thing zoned. We're also going to want to have a lot of parks. We're going to have some special things like, let's say, the Oriental Pearl Tower. That could be kind of fun. You know, there's a lot of different things that I need to be getting. So what if I start with this? $180,000 is pretty expensive, but sure, why not? We'll just go ahead and create one of these. Looks gorgeous. Beautiful. Mwah. This is going to be expensive, honestly. It's going to be a very, very expensive investment getting this place up and running, but it's going to be worth it in the end, no doubt about it. What's this? The City Arch. We could place that over something, sure. How about we place it right along over here? That'll look kind of cool, having a little arch to drive through. Yeah, I wish I could have a bunch of these, honestly. I could place these all over the city, and I'd be pretty happy with that. What else we got? Landmarks? Temple complexes, traffic parks, man, we're not going to worry about that. Football, absolutely not. Concerts? Could place down a few of these things, you know, some media broadcasting buildings and so on. Increases the effectiveness of advertisement campaigns. Ooh, well, I haven't used any of those, but that could be fun. A festival area. A festivus for the rest of us. That could be kind of cool. What else we got? Some big monuments? Transport tower. I don't feel like that really cuts it, honestly. There's got to be more. Lungs of the city. Cool, but no. An official park. Much official, very park. Yes. Praise be unto Doge. The Colossal Order towers. Sure. Not gonna... Well, I guess I could go for an opera house. It will probably create a pretty unpleasant amount of noise. That's the real downside to it. But if we place this over, let's say, along here, somewhat close to the monorail with plenty of room to grow, this could be kind of fun, and it's going to be along a major road, so maybe we'll be able to handle the traffic. Maybe. I don't know. A science center. Aha! That could be pretty cool. You know, when I was a child, and we're having a lot of childhood things today, apparently, but when I was a child and living in Arizona, we had the Phoenix Science Center, the Arizona Science Center, and man, that was a place I loved going as a kid. It was a lot of fun being able to check that out. Been there since then, and it's actually gone a fair bit downhill. It has a lot more like digital things as opposed to big analog displays and very creative things you could do. But nonetheless, that place holds a special place in my heart. I will also end up placing down a ziggurat garden and maybe an observation tower, which increases the effectiveness of all parks and plazas in an area. So by placing this in a good spot, we'll be able to actually boost up everything else over here. What else we got? We have the Modern Art Museum. That sounds pretty good. We have a stadium. Probably don't want that for the traffic. A Cathedral of Plentitude. Yeah, we've tried building around that in the past. And then a big honkin' Central Park. Yeah, these are all things we could do as well. Man. All right, well, I obviously have a lot to do in this particular area if I want to get this all set up, but the idea is very straightforward. Just like with the Leisure District, get a absolute ton of entertainment in here and start building out the commercial district so we can get lots of hotels, and then make sure we can handle all of the mass transit needs of this area and get them to and from other places in the city. That's going to be absolutely crucial, because this is going to become a major traffic hub if we start relying on cars, and I do not want that at all. We have got some trams and monorails overlapping, so I do think there's a good chance that this will take care of a big chunk of it, and lo and behold, by the way, all of a sudden the boats are very interested in this harbor instead. Go figure. But it's not going to be enough. We'll have to expand out some of the metro as well for absolute sure. It wouldn't even necessarily be a terrible idea at some point, maybe not now, but at some point, to build off the rail line and see if we can find a way to sneak in a passenger rail junction over here as well. That could also be a very good thing to do. I don't know. It's just things we're considering. Ooh, looks like some of the first tourism buildings are going up. The Octa Hotel to start, and a Hotel Beacon, or Bacon. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and rename it the Hotel Bacon. That sounds good to me. Okay, yeah, so it makes sense. We'll have a few of those getting set up since it is kind of in the middle of a bunch of other useful entertainment structures. I'm imagining if we take a look at entertainment, which is... that's going to be under happiness. There's a way to see some of this. I don't remember what it is off the cuff, but the idea is there's going to be a lot of very obviously high entertaining value buildings in this area, so the more we keep building out will be fine. I'm going to come back to this probably in between videos, because I think planning out all the roads and all of the monuments I'm going to need in and of itself is going to be a bit of a pain. I definitely want to get things like an official park. Yeah, there's just so many things I need to do, and I got to figure out how to do an intelligent layout that I'm actually going to be happy with. So yeah, that's going to be too much effort for this particular video. I'm going to go ahead and end things here, I think, but we've made fantastic progress. The Leisure District is almost fully developed at this point. We have developed another major segment of the city. We have a neighborhood that is slowly building its way out, and we dealt with some, you know, crises that probably were or were not my fault. No one can really say. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.